Welcome to another highly questionable gathering. Happy to be back. What do you like on the show today, Bomani?
I'm telling you, we're talking about Kirk Cousins, but I swear it's not my idea when this happens.
Vamos, papi.
Was Tricky Nicky just being petty by firing Lane Kiffin before the national championship game?
What an amazing story. And we're left to ask questions like this because you can't get the snake oil salesman who runs sports and coaching to give you honest answers to what the questions are. Why did this happen? It's unusual, but it tells you a couple of things. One, you've got a pretty big business when you can go from Lane Kiffin to another professional in Steve Sarkisian who just happens to be on your staff, and you've got a pretty dirty business when you can go from mercenary Lane Kiffin to a guy who was fired from his last job for being drunk on the job.
Now, where I find this to be interesting, Lane Kiffin seems to have been afflicted with a serious case of senioritis. I think we've been there at different points before, where you have a new job, but you're still working the old job, but you don't really care so much about your old job, but you can't go to the new job just yet. People have these reports about Lane Kiffin showing up to things late, being kind of detached. This is everything else, but think about how bad it had to be for Nick Saban, Mr. I don't want any distractions, to just drop this giant distraction before all of us to the point of going to a guy who hasn't called plays with his freshman quarterback all year long in the biggest game of the year.
Well, the new offensive coordinator knows how to pick the right play.
Oh, no. Are we going to show that video? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. That is the first time any of us have seen Steve Sarkisian since he was fired from his last job doing that.
By the way, this is the third time that he has taken over a job because Lane Kiffin has left or Lane Kiffin has been fired. I'm a little confused as to why Lane Kiffin invited this guy around, because that was the sign. This dude's going to be taking your job.
Did he slump in his seat because he knew we were watching and caught him doing that?
Don't they have a snack bar?
I mean, right?
How big of a problem is under Terry Pegula for the Buffalo Bills?
All right, so the Bills have this whole confusing thing. Never mind the fact they haven't made the playoffs since 1999. They seem to have a lot of talented players, right? They might have a quarterback. We don't know if they have a quarterback. We know that they fired the head coach, but we don't know if the general manager is the general manager because apparently he doesn't know what he's doing in his job anymore. Listen to this from Doug Whaley.
We just finished our weekly phone conversation with Terry, myself, and Rex. Rex asked to speak to him privately. After that, I was informed that Rex would no longer be our coach. I wasn't privy to the conversation, so I cannot get into those details.
I didn't know that's what he looked like. Anyway, yes, the question with the Buffalo Bills, though, is the owner the problem? I don't know how you identify independently what the problem is, but to me, people have been saying that Rex Ryan had to go. The players seem to understand that Rex Ryan had to go. I don't know if you can fault the owner for making the decision that Rex Ryan had to go.
It looked bad, though. They handled the public relations very poorly, and as he mentioned, they haven't made the playoffs back when Ralph Wilson was owning the team for many years either before this new guy took over. What you can't have happen, though, is have the punctuation on Rex Ryan be, you don't know the rules on a kickoff and you allow a ball to sit in your end zone as the Jets beat you and score a touchdown because you don't know the rules, and then that's the press conference you have afterward where people were badgering this guy, asking him, hey, what do you do around here? What's your job?
So this guy has a big job in the front office. He doesn't have to hire anybody. He doesn't have to fire anybody.
Right.
Well, I'll do that job. That fits me right in. I'm qualified for that job.
Yeah, he sounded upset about the fact that he didn't get to hire or fire the coach. I'd be pretty pleased. Yeah, let somebody else take responsibility for that.
I feel like the Cowboys have someone in a similar position.
Should the Redskins let Kirk Cousins walk this offseason?
Only if he asks for way too much money, and it seems like he is asking for way too much money. You can only keep him if you get him for value. But here's the problem, Bomani, and it's always the problem with discussions like this. Keep in mind, if I told Bill O'Brien right now that he has to leave his apartment or his home and crawl to Brian Hoyer's house to get him to be the quarterback again in the playoffs, even though he got rid of him after being shut out in the playoffs last year, he might do that because he thought that the replacement would be better, and the replacements haven't been. You got to get a better replacement. How are you going to do that?
Look, they can't let him walk, right? As much as I don't think he's a great quarterback, I don't think they have options outside of him. There's no way they can let him walk away when the rest of the team is pretty good. Now, I don't know how they build a team around him, given all the guys they've got to re-sign and the defense they have to fix. But the best part was Kirk Cousins saying that it is his obligation to take all this money because it would be unfair to all the other quarterbacks if he didn't get all the money he could because he could make all that money for them. Now, don't get me wrong. He's right when he says that. Don't tell me that's why you want all that money, though. He ain't doing nobody no favor, man. You try to strike it rich.
No, he's totally right. You have to protect the downtrodden quarterback who is underpaid and not serviced well in this industry. You have to represent for them the little man.
But stop and think about this for a second. How rich are all the actual good quarterbacks going to be able to get if this dude keeps getting $25 million a year?
Should Niners fans have faith in Jet York this time around?
Usually not a good sign when we say this time around to a fan base about faith in their owner. That means, of course, you shouldn't have faith in him. Jed York owns the 49ers. They just fired Chip Kelly. They fired Trent Baalke, the general manager. They're always springing leaks, and everybody's already mad at each other. And at his press conference, reporters were asking, what do you say to the people who say you should fire yourself? And he's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I own the team. You can't dismiss me. And he's right. They shouldn't have faith. But if you're going to love that team, you better learn to make peace with that owner because it's his team. You just care too much about it.
And he told you to your face that it's his team and you can't do anything about it. They are paying coaches to not work $69 million. But the problem isn't any coach. It does not matter who the coach is. The 49ers had a bunch of guys quit on them, and everything went straight into the toilet the moment that Harbaugh left and Kaepernick went into the toilet. They're doomed either way. It doesn't much matter who he gets. They're going to hope that the rules that legislate equality will get them some players that are better and don't quit.
Did the Rose Bowl make you think that USC or Penn State deserved to win the playoff?
Fun game. Nobody was stopping anybody in that game. The field conditions were terrible in that game. And Adoree Jackson, who decided to play for his team because he's not a quitter and he's not Fournette and he's not all these things that the media has been calling these players who were protecting their investment, we wouldn't give them a good field to play on so that they wouldn't hurt themselves. But the answer to this question is I don't really know, and I'd be totally okay with Vegas deciding who the 4 teams should be instead of a committee. They had USC as a 7-point favorite in that game. USC was awfully fun to watch.
Yeah, but the reason why we're here is not so much about how good the Rose Bowl was, though it was certainly entertaining. It's about how bad Ohio State looked in the playoff, losing 31-0. That makes you ask if the actual Big Ten champion should have been there or the team that beat the actual Big Ten champion should be there. My response to that is one of those teams gave up 52 points. The other one gave up 49 points. And you're trying to explain to me how it is they should have been playing for a national championship?
Do you remember earlier in the season when they were talking about firing the USC coach?
Yeah. Now we're later in the season and you still don't know his name. Do you?
No.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Look at this right here. Now, he was quoted after the game that he was just being silly, number 42 from Clemson.
Yeah, what?
Right there, silly.
Where is that silly? What kind of silly is that?
Well, this was my favorite part of the quote, though. He said there were no hard feelings. There were no hard feelings.
Time to play the game that has already broken all of its New Year's resolutions. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
Do you question if this was friendly?
Clemson, Ohio State, it's the sort of thing that Dan's probably all about.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about this.
What kind of question is this, friendly? What's friendly about this?
I mean, I'm just saying, you laugh at people getting, hit between the legs. I don't know why such a gentle caress doesn't do the job. See, he just laughed. I know where you got it from.
Look at this right here. Now, he was quoted after the game that he was just being silly, number 42 from Clemson.
Yeah, what?
Right there, silly.
Where is that silly? What kind of silly is that?
Well, this was my favorite part of the quote, though. He said there were no hard feelings. There were no hard feelings. That's what he actually said. I'm dead serious. That's what he actually said.
Now, that's funny. When he actually did, not so much.
He would know. He would know.
I only know one coach who will teach that tactic.
Which coach?
There we go.
Come on, man. This guy, I thought we got rid of him last year.
And to be fair,
Come on, man.
at least that's his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is so gratuitous. It really is. We should be ashamed of ourselves collecting money for the same stuff we were doing last year.
Does he have his watch on the wrong wrist? Somehow I just noticed that for the first time.
Do you question if Aqib Talib owns Michael Crabtree a new chain?
All right, so after the game, Aqib Talib said that he'd been watching Michael Crabtree wear a chain all season, and that he believed he ain't want him to wear that chain no more. So what'd he do?
This is some amazing street
Right.
credibility right here.
Here we
All
go.
of this.
Here we go. And right there,
Yeah.
he snatches his chain. He didn't take it off, but he decided that he couldn't wear it anymore.
Yeah, he broke it, though. He did break it.
That is one of the more disrespectful things
Yes.
that I believed I've ever seen, right? And he's telling everybody
Yeah,
about how
yeah,
he snatched
yes,
his chain
yes.
and all of that. Let me tell you something about chain snatching that I've learned over time. Somebody only tries to snatch your chain if they're 100% positive that you're not going to do anything about it. Now, Crabtree is like, well, what was I supposed to do? Something, man, something.
Well, the guy did that to me once.
Yeah, once.
Just once.
Once.
Nobody has seen him again.
Yeah, right.
That's it. That's what you got to do.
That is how you end those things. That is true.
Do you question who the alpha athlete is here?
We got Oklahoma City and Milwaukee. How old is Giannis right now, Bomani? Is he 22?
22.
23 years old? Let's watch this right here. Russ Westbrook, as great an athlete as you've ever seen, period. And
Oh, Freaky Greeky. Got him.
got him. That's
It is worth noting Freaky Greeky is 8 inches taller than him.
yes.
They just happen to play the same position.
Yeah, but how about this? That was
Russ calling for the gold 10 like anybody cared.
and it was called the gold 10, but it shouldn't have been, maybe? Who's the alpha athlete there, Bomani? Who you got? 'Cause
I feel like Russell Westbrook is like, how come you couldn't show some of my better plays?
yeah, there are plenty of those to choose from too.
Well, hell, even the great ones, they get rejected once in a while, What can I tell you?
Oh, very good joke, Poppy. There it is. The great one, rejected.
You're not going to do this to me in front of all these people. I'm Wayne Damn Gretzky.
Yeah, she just did.
Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time for another one of my sexy interview medleys.
They're not exactly sexy, but it's a group of interviews that we've done, cut up, and spliced up for your entertainment. Give us your honest reaction when you're playing basketball games for the Clippers and you look over for the first time and Donald Sterling, the owner of the team, is heckling you, and you realize that it's the owner of the team who's actually heckling you. Yeah, that's
There's no words. There's no words. There's no words. It was like,
There's nothing you
okay.
can do, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
what
was
do you
like-
do?
I was very confused. I was very. I mean, I knew he was the owner, and I kind of knew his past, but once he started doing that, it was like, do I take this ball and throw this ball in his face and be suspended for 10 games and be a bad guy, or do I just try to continue to play to help this team win so he can win? So it was, it was just conflict, man. It was. I would say that was probably the most difficult part of my career and my life is playing for the Clippers under that.
People marvel at that, right? Because it was your high school coach, it was your mother, it was your father, it was your brother. That it's an extraordinary amount of loss for one person to endure and keep a smile on their face.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. But at the same time, I never gave up. That was my mom's motto: never give up, no matter what. Because she always tried to warn us that her time is coming, and just to always prep us for it so we can always be set and ready to continue to do the things that we set for ourselves. And I just always think back to the things she told us and things she spoke to us about. Don't worry, I'm always gonna be proud of you no matter what you do. As long as you're doing the things that you want to do and you're happy about it, and you know that I'll be proud of you and happy for you, I can continue to move forward. I remember on her deathbed, I'm in college, and right before she passed, I I leave school, I come check on her. They said she doesn't have much time. And this was she's back in and out of the hospital. And she said, I said, Mom, what's keeping you here? Why are you being so strong, and you can pass and you can be with the Lord, and we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I'm doing the best I can, and I feel like I'm getting close. You don't have to hold on much longer. Just you don't have to keep doing this to yourself. She rolled over in her bed and she looked me in the eyes and she said, Marcel, how many brothers and sisters do you have? I said 6. She said, how many? Who else is here to take care of them? I said, right now. I said, nobody. She said, I have 7 lives that I have to take care of, and before I go, I want to make sure that we're gonna be okay. And this is right before the national championship, and had the best game of my career, of my life, and I was a backup and I played that game. And after that game, they had me ranked as #1 overall player in the draft. 19 years old. Started one game. I didn't start the game. I was a backup. Came in 5th play. And my mom, that was her last game ever watched me play. And after that game, I came home and I sat with her and we watched the replay of it. And she was laying in the hospital bed at the apartment that she was staying in. And from there, she just looked at me and she just smiled. She was at a loss of words, and I knew that she was at a point where she knew that things was going to be okay.
Time to play the game that is going to slip into something a little bit more comfortable. See or no?
Tell us what to watch on television tonight. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
On Comcast California, Kings and Nuggets.
No, thank you. I think most people would say no to this, including some of the people who are playing in this game. Now, we go back to Kings and Grizzlies, though. There was a timeout. What happened during it? Oh, yeah, Zach and DeMarcus. Why is there a guy in a suit wandering around here? They did not stop. They did not feel like stopping. They kept playing. I feel like that pretty much speaks to what their existence is normally like. They're not paying attention to other people on their teams. Bomani, are you intrigued?
First of all, we have to get Boogie and Zebo on the same team. I feel like Zebo could be the mentor that Boogie needs. Also of note, Kings and Nuggets. You know what those 2 teams are battling for? The 8th seed in the West. Seriously.
Really? Is that true? Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Listen, you might think that you might not want to watch this game, but let me tell you something. Let me sell it to you. It's the Sacramento Kings, led by Boogie Cousins, against the Nuggets, led by whoever is leading the Nuggets, I'm telling you, it's going to be one of a lifetime game tonight at 9 o'clock. So stay by your TV watching that game. It's going to be a hell of a game.
Yep, I almost put this no card down. Almost.
Who does lead the Nuggets?
On Showtime, 60 Minutes Sports.
Let's see if they can persuade us with this clip. It's about Lindsey Vonn. There's a story on Lindsey Vonn and her rehabbing. Let's see.
Definitely, I would say the most excruciating pain I've ever been in.
When I got the call on the radio to come down, you could hear her screaming in the background on one of the coaches' radios. So I knew that it was bad. Push, 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 push.
Lindsay Winninger has been Lindsey Vonn's trainer for many, many years. They have a really tight relationship. They're almost like sisters, the way they bicker.
I don't need help. Don't. I'm not going to.
Hand off me. Don't touch me.
I'm not going to. Good.
Lindsay, the trainer, left Lindsay, the skier, alone after her injury for about 24 hours. And that's when Lindsey Vonn decided it would be a good idea to try on her newly broken arm a few pull-ups.
I think I fired off a few texts at first and then a few phone calls, and definitely was like, what are you doing? She's like, why? That feels good. It feels good. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got in big trouble for that. Oops.
I mean, that was interesting, and I've seen about enough of it. Bomani, are you intrigued?
She is so much tougher than I could dream of being. What the hell is wrong with you?
Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? She did that with a broken arm?
Yes.
I have never had a broken arm, and I have never been able to do a pull-up.
Right, yeah.
How
Pull-ups
that
are hard.
happens,
Yeah, pull-ups
you know?
are hard. Yeah.
That's right.
I just can't imagine having a broken arm and being like, you know what would feel great right now?
Yeah,
Some pull-ups.
Do you remember when you tried to do a pull-up?
I'm not very good at pull-ups. That's not going to surprise anybody.
Yeah, you bend that bar.
That's right.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's
right.
funny. Yes,
Yeah.
that's funny. Yes, it was titanium.
On FYI, Kiss, Bang, Love.
Kiss, bang, love. Okay, what is the bang for? So here's what we've got. We've got blindfolded people, and this is the debut of the show, but they did a version of it in Australia, and they're basically kissing strangers blindfolded. So let's see.
This isn't The Bachelor. He doesn't know what they look like. He can't see them. But he'll kiss them.
Really passionate, sexy kiss.
Every one of them.
Took me by surprise, actually.
Can you know whatever? Amazing.
Can you pick the one for you just with a kiss?
When am I supposed to stop? Do I just keep going? I think she's the one. I'm calling it.
New Kiss Bang Love is coming to 7.
That's interesting. I'd be intrigued in that, actually. Bomani, are you intrigued?
Yeah, them kisses ain't binding. That blindfold comes out, and the rules are all still the same. Just so you know, I don't want you to get your heart broke, but if the blindfold comes off and I want it back, you got to go.
All right. Well, good. Very cold. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. You know, I have never seen that blindfold, you know, but handcuff, that's a different story. I have seen a handcuff, you know, but not blindfold.
With your mom.
Oh.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
Gracias, see you, Mariana.
I bet people were happy that we're off the air. Now they go back, turn the TV on, and says, "Oh, this thing is on again." My God!
I thought it went away forever.
No,
I
they
was
turned
so
it on. I was
happy.
like, how many times can we watch the same year in review show?
That's right.